Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here. One time there was a giant, and this is a joke, by the way, a little Christian humor. There was a giant in Bavaria, and he would go to a neighboring city and he would pillage it and do all kinds of stuff. And it got to the point to where the villagers were scared, they were tired, they were hungry, their families, their children, they were all living in terror of this giant. And because they did not have a religious witness in their town, they thought they would appeal to someone in a neighboring town, happened to be a Jewish synagogue in a neighboring town, that maybe the giant would have compassion on a man of the cloth, somebody who was religious. And so, every time that they had gone up the mountain to the giant's castle and appealed, the giant would kick them down the hill. They'd roll down the hill and it would be a terrible thing. Many of them passed away in all of this. So they go to the rabbi in the next town. And the name of their town they were from was Trid, the land of Trid. And the neighboring town was something else. So they go to the neighboring town and say, you know, we know that it's a risk, and we know everybody else that's ever done this gets kicked down, many of them die and all this, but could you go for the love of humanity, for our children, for our wives, for our family, for our progeny, could you go and please appeal to the giant not to pillage and do terrible things to the land of Trid anymore? And so the rabbi said, it's my duty as a man of God that I have to help humanity in any way I can. So he says, I will do it. So he makes the long trek, the sludge up the mountaintop, and he looks up at these huge gates and knocks at the door. Before long, he hears boom, 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 thunderous footsteps walking towards the door. And a massive giant stands before him, far larger than he had ever conceived that this could be. And the giant was like, what do you want? And the rabbi says, I'm a man of the cloth. He said, I serve God. He says, I want you to stop pillaging the Tridites, the people of Trid. He said, you've got to. He said, their families are starving. You've taken their cattle. You've taken their sheep. Their children are growing up frightened. You're killing people. It's terrible. You need to stop. The giant had never had anybody talk so directly to him. But his heart was hardened. He said, no, I will not stop. He says, I will go down when I want to and do what I want to the people of Trid. And so the rabbi knew what comes next. The rabbi covers his head and leans in and begins to seek protection. And he's waiting for the kick from that giant. And so the kick never comes. So he begins to look up, and the giant's still standing there, hands on hips, staring down at the rabbi. And he says, aren't you going to kick me down the hill? And the giant says, no, you silly rabbi. Kicks are for Trids. God bless you. Hope you caught it.